is in Flint, Michigan, where I believe, correct me if I have any of these details wrong, the city leaders decided to change the source of the water for the city in order to save some money. And unfortunately, that meant river water that was untreated coming through and stripping lead from the pipes. It was not the city leaders?
Actually, the mayor went for it too. The mayor was for it as well.
This was the previous mayor, not the mayor who's there now.
Yeah, not the current mayor. The previous mayor was in favor of switching as well.
Okay. Well, and that's actually kind of what I was getting at, which is that there's a lot of blame that's being spread around, and certainly currently, Erin Brockovich, remember her?
Yeah.
She's involved in this. I just watched that movie this past weekend, so I would not want to be on the other side of the negotiating table with her. But maybe if I could go to the lawyer first.
Well, it's an incredible bureaucracy. I mean, it actually was. It was the city manager. There was also the city mayor. There was also the Michigan, basically environmental agency. I think it's like MEQA or something like that. So basically, back in 2013, the City Council of Flint votes. City Council of Flint is getting their water from Detroit. And again, there's lots of acronyms here, so I'll just say Detroit Water, right? They're getting money from like Detroit Water. And they decide in March of 2013 that they want to get money from a brand new Fancy Pants location, which is water directly from Lake Huron, and instead of going through Detroit. So let's call it the lake water. That's the new fancy way they're going to do it. So in March 2013, they say, we don't want to get money from Detroit anymore. We want to get the money from the lake. Okay, so they do this, and the Detroit folks are really mad, and they try to force them to like keep their contract with Detroit, and they say, no, we want to move. And there's the manager, the sort of the fiduciary, because as a lot of places are in Detroit, they're under this sort of mandatory, city manager system where they have somebody who can tell them, who can sort of control the finances. So that person says, yes, fine. And they say, okay, fine. So Detroit Water, we're done with you. We're gonna sign to like go with the fancy new water. And Detroit says, okay, well, in 1 year from today, and again, this is like April 2013. They said, 1 year from today, your contract is going to expire with us, and then I'm not saying we're not going to give you water anymore, but at that point, the contract is kind of done, and we're going to have to sort of either go or not go, sort of based on no paper, right? So 1 year later, it's April 2014. And now the city of Flint has to either stay with Detroit Water and with no contract, or go to the Flint Water, because the fancy new water from the lake, the new sort of lake establishment, isn't going to be ready till 2016. So they got 2014 to 2016 to kind of do something there. And again, they could stay with Detroit and kind of renegotiate stuff, or they could use their Flint water resources. And this is the decision. This is one of the critical decisions here, is they decide to use the Flint water resources. They decide they could save money by using this sort of, basically sort of, not, I won't say defunct, but sort of a dilapidated Flint water processing plant through the river. So that's why the change happened. So in April 2014, they flipped the switch, and boom, they're now using Flint River water, and they're just going to do it for 2 years until the fancy new water plant is ready. And by the way, that's still the plan. They still plan to go in 2016, in June 2016, to the fancy new plant. So they start using the water. So again, sort of like in terms of like political points, this is one, right? The mayor says, no, we're not going to stay with Detroit Water, which is safe and we know is fine. We're going to start using this, kind of gross old Flint water that we know. And so they make that decision. And so they start using the water, and of course, immediately people are like, this is so gross, right? For those of us in the Bay Area who have great Hetch Hetchy water, when you go somewhere else and you turn on the tap and you're like, there's something wrong, right? When I visit my parents in Alabama and I'm in the hotel room, like, oh, Lord, this tastes weird. When something's wrong. And so people immediately said, things are wrong here. And the Michigan Environmental Quality Agency said, no, everything is fine. We've tested it, and everything is fine. The problem is that they're supposed to keep records about where the pipes go, right? So not everybody in Flint is affected by this, just the people who are getting their water through these horrible lead pipes. And they're supposed to keep records about who's getting what water from what pipe, so you can test things like this when there are specific pipes posing problems. Problem is, in Flint, Michigan, those records they're legally required to keep so that we can track who's getting the crap water. The records are kept on and this is totally true, 45,000 index cards, handwritten index cards. Swear to God, some going back to the turn of the century. So people are saying this water's crap, and the agency's saying, no, we've tested it. The problem is they don't know which ones to test, right? Because all the data showing what house is getting what water is on these dumb index cards that no one can figure out. So they effectively have no records. So the environmental quality, the state quality agency is going, well, this looks totally fine to us, but you're testing the wrong damn places. So that's the problem. So there's this fight that breaks out between the state agency and the EPA. And the EPA is going, this is crap. And the state agency is going, no, everything's totally fine. We totally need to test this more. People raise hell. They ask, the Flint City Council says, fine, screw it, we want to go back to Detroit. Like, let's just forget it all. Let's go back to Detroit water. And this
whoever says that. Right?
Right, they totally did. They were like, using any means necessary. This is what the resolution, any means necessary. We got to get out of this crap water, and we got to get back to Detroit water. This is March 2015. And to your point about the receivership, the city manager says, nope, the water's fine. The state agency assures me the water's totally fine. So ignore. More studies come out, more fights between the state agency and the EPA. Finally, in October of last year, they finally switch to the Detroit water. So in the course of all of this, three people at the agency have resigned. Now the issue is there were lawsuits against the mayor of the city for making the decision. There are lawsuits against people in the Environmental Quality Agency, the state one, as in their own personal capacity, right? Normally when you sue a city, the mayor, whatever, people do it all the time. They sue the president all the time, whatever. It's in their official capacity. This is in their personal capacity. Like, this is malicious. They say, you knew it. You knew that you didn't have the right records. You knew you weren't testing the right places, and you did it anyway, and it's malicious, and we're suing you as well. And so the reason it goes back to Governor Snyder is because he's the one who appoints the head of that state that state environmental agency, and they say you should have stepped in and told your people to get it together and and act more quickly on this. In terms of the actual connection between test results and the governor, a little more tenuous, but that's why it made its whole way up. So as you can see in this process, there's 10 different decision points where something could have happened that could have been helpful for these folks, and it didn't. And that is why we're sort of in the position we are today.